All right, so did anyone take a look at that 0x starter project at all? Yes, no, maybe so. He did. The guy that works for 0x took a look. I'm real proud. All right, let's see here. So I'll show you a little bit of code. I'll keep it really simple. So here's some of the code for a, let's start with, so does everyone know what parity is? So parity is an Ethereum full node. A relayer will need to have an Ethereum full node so that they can query the blockchain and know what's going on there. Let's see here. So here's the user interface for parity. You can see how up to date you are. Well, I don't know if that's right. I guess we'll find out. Let's see here. So give me a moment here. Okay, so I'm starting up a server that will be our actual relayer. And I'm not going to go into too much specifics here, but I'll show you more or less what it looks like. This is JavaScript. You're going to want to import all the libraries necessary. You can keep your own database if you like as well. So you initialize it. You say, okay, I want to keep an array of orders, right? So eventually we're going to start filling up those orders, that order book, with actual potential orders. You're also creating endpoints so that people can communicate with you. So the first one here is for people who are looking to submit an order through you. You're obviously going to want that because otherwise you won't make any money. Also order book. People are able to ask you, okay, given this input and output currency, what orders do you have on the books? So they're going to take a look to see if they can fill those. Also, people are going to want to know what your fees are, right? Because if your fees are ridiculous, they're not going to want to find that out after the trade has gone through. So typically they'll ping you before they say, what are your fees? If they seem agreeable, then they say, okay, let's submit the order through you. And let's see here. If I go order actions, so I've hard-coded a bunch of stuff. So this first example is going to be executed from the command line, which is very, it's not the prettiest thing in the world. I'll go over the code real quick here, and then we'll execute it, and we'll see it go through. Let's see. Okay. So you have to connect. So see this little URL right there? That means we need someone providing the ability to go and interact with the Ethereum blockchain. You'll notice it matches this right here. So it's localhost, and then there's a specific port. So we say, given that, we want 0x to use that parity node. And in this case, we are more or less hard coding the different tokens that are being traded. We're also hard coding the maker and the taker. In this case, just for the record, for all these demonstrations, I play fast and loose with the exchange rate, so my relayer does not communicate with other relayers because we're doing stuff on mainnet here. And the last thing I want is to set some stupid exchange rate, have someone else see it, fill it, and then have me be out, $50 or something like that. By trading with myself, as lame as it sounds, I can at least be certain that I'm not going to lose money. So here we have to make it so that our relayer is actually able to trade on our behalf or to execute these transactions on our behalf. We need that for the maker and the taker. We hard code a bunch of values for the order, and then eventually we sign it by the maker, and then we have the taker sign it, and we send back a receipt once it's actually been signed and executed on the blockchain. So let's see here. So for visual reasons, I'm going to I've also tied an edge account to the public addresses that we're trading with. That way you guys can actually see the amounts change. Let's see here. DEX Trader 2. Give it a moment here. All right. Okay, there we go. So you can see these amounts right here, 0.187 WETH, 94.8 ZRX. So let's see. Oh yeah, so in version 1, they call it version 0. For 0x, in order for them to be able to trade Ethereum, they need to convert it into what is called a wrapped Ethereum. That's WETH. Okay, and by doing WETH, they essentially have Ethereum, but they make it comply with the ERC20 standard. So at any given moment, you can convert one WETH to ETH or one ETH to one WETH. So it is something that you can convert between back and forth. On the first version of 0x, you actually had to do the conversions, but in version 2 that's coming out now, they are abstracting that away, so it makes for a better user experience. And I'm glad that they did that, because user experience is a big part of what will make or break this technology. So let's see if I execute. If I execute this actual trade, see if it goes through. I'm a little concerned about my relayer, about our full node. Oh, so it is working. So since I'm hard coding things, I haven't handed over any private keys. That means that my full node will ask me for permission to do things. So I'm going to go ahead and let it know that it has permission to do that. All right, now here we already gave it permission for the token allowance. Now it's asking us to actually sign the trade transaction that'll actually have the amounts get traded. Now if we just give it a moment for it to create those hashes for the order, and then it can start to, there we go. So here we have a transaction hash that will be broadcasted to the Ethereum network. Oh, and we can see the WETH has been received by our Edge account. I believe it's DEX Trader 2. So if we take that Ethereum order transaction hash and we insert it into Etherscan, we can double check just to make sure the transaction has gone through. Here we see it's a success, 4 confirmations, and we can see all the inputs and outputs. See where all the ZRX and WETH has been going to. Now in our Edge wallet, if we go to the WETH wallet, give it a moment to load the transactions. All right, and here at the top we can see that it's been received. Okay, so we did it from the blockchain, or from the command line, and you've seen it go through. So let's say, hypothetically, you're an Edge user. If we wanted to integrate this into Edge, this is kind of a rough prototype of what it might look like. So you would select, let's see here, you have to select your Ethereum wallet, and then you would go to the DEX area. So let's say I want to trade tokens. All right, so we'll say I'm doing WETH. Oop, where'd you go? Right. Doing 0.02, some super small amount. I want to make sure I don't run out during a demo. And we're going to do ZRX. Okay. Maybe we'll trade something like, what is it? Let's say 11 ZRX. Okay. So if we submit the order, and I have a little bit of feedback, so at least I can figure out if anything goes wrong, why it's going wrong. You can have something that lets the user know what's going on. Okay, so the order's been submitted, so that's cool. And then let's say there's another Edge user who's looking to do the opposite sort of trade. So we'll call it DEX Trader 2. Let it load. And I've scraped a lot of this stuff together to try to get as much possible for a demo. That means that some of the I's and T's are not dotted and crossed, so to speak. So let's see here. So this person wants to do the opposite sort of trade. So they select their Ethereum wallet. And I actually think this part, so we're going to look at the open order book. And unfortunately, I think this part I have the codes backwards. So I think this person's really, let's see here. Come on. All right. And by having someone select to fill an order, it means you're not splitting the order up, which can make it easier on the user. Because if you're doing decentralized trading from a mobile phone, you only have so much space to work with, right? It's hard to make like a full trading desk or something like that. So you see here, we can actually see the order that DEX Trader 1 set. So looks like that expiration's probably a little off. That's fine. So let's just select it. Let's see if we can fill the order. Give me one moment so I can monitor it. Say, okay. Oops, I just pressed it twice. All right. Okay, so it's going. Let's see here. Oh, it's going slow. Come on. Signature. All right, so someone's signing it. Okay. So as you can see at the bottom, okay, it's about to actually fill the order. That's a good sign. Transaction hash. There we go. That's what we need. Fill order success. Okay. So let's see here. I want to get out of that. Go back to the wallet. Go back here. 0.1794.792. So sometimes, let's see here. Let's check, see how far along it is. Oh, did I already press it in? One block, 0.177. All right, so you can also already see that it's gone through. You can see on Etherscan. Sometimes, since we run our own node or we use our own nodes for Edge, sometimes it takes a little bit longer, or sometimes it's faster actually to detect the transaction. So that's trading from up, there you go, 0.179, and now it's 83.642. So you can see the actual transaction there. 824, yep. So there you go. There's a transaction right there. So that's what a decentralized exchange trade could look like from a mobile application. So I am going to keep this open, but we're going to take this a step further. Let's see here. So I think I do understand that some traders may not want to do large amounts of trading, how would I say this, from a mobile wallet. A lot of people don't keep a ton of their, here we go. A lot of people don't keep all of their money on a mobile wallet. And in general, with a mobile wallet, as I mentioned earlier, you only have so much space to work with and there's so much stuff going on with trading that a lot of people might not want to do it from a mobile application. They might prefer something like a web application or a desktop application. So you need a relayer, you need an interface. I'm curious, what do you guys think is another part of a decentralized exchange that you need? What's you could almost argue the most critical part? No, I mean, what I'm saying, what critical parts of technology do you need in order to do a decentralized exchange? Yeah, okay, you need right, okay, so you have a server, okay, and let's say you have a user interface. What else do you need? Think about decentralized applications. They need to plug into something. How do they get access to the funds, right? So it needs access to people's funds. It needs a wallet. So hypothetically, like I said, most of the decentralized exchanges out there, they are running through web applications. They are on the internet. And from what I could tell, there's at least three solutions, wallet solutions that I've seen, at least that are the most obvious ones that I've seen. First one you can actually see up here is MetaMask. So has anyone here used MetaMask? Yeah, it's probably the most common solution for decentralized applications. I know a lot of people love MetaMask. I personally am not the biggest fan. And let's see here. So that's useful. Obviously, if you're, well, I'm not going to get ahead of myself. Okay, so that's one solution. That's fine. Another one is the ledger. I guess you can plug in your ledger, which is fine if you carry a laptop around and want to carry your hardware wallet around. But not everyone wants to do something like that. So there is a third product out there that can be used. I guess let's see here. So these wallet companies, these wallet teams offer this sort of service because they want decentralized app developers to be able to focus on developing their application. If you want to create a decentralized exchange, that's enough work. You don't want to have to go through the work of creating a wallet, right? I mean, what kind of developer would want to spend weeks or months developing a wallet, right? Oh, wait. Oh, God. Oh, yeah, that's right. Well, luckily at Edge, we put in the hard work and we make it so that app developers out there don't have to do as much of that critical wallet-related work. So what I'll show you here is if you're a decentralized application developer, let me bring up some of the code. I'll keep the code part brief. Let's see here. Sorry, give me one moment. So, build source. Where are we? Source, containers, homepage, no, components. Sorry, give me one moment here. Constants layout. Okay, so cool. If you are an app developer, we at Edge actually offer a product called Edge Login. So you see here, we're importing Edge Login for the web. So we have this thing called Make Edge Context. And you put this into your application, into your website. So specifically here, I'm going to put it into the sidebar. And when you click on it, you'll see what it does in a moment. You just set some basic parameters, just a few lines of code. And if you want people to log in, you say, okay, we'll log in. Okay. So there you go. You can see, I'll exit out of that. So here you can log in with your Edge account. So let's go ahead and do that. The cool thing is, in order to log in, you can actually scan from your Edge wallet. So that's what I'm going to do here. I think it shares some information, shares the wallet, and I think in the up top right, it'll display your username, at least in my app. So let's see, I press accept, I scan it, and look, it's already in the username. Oh, did I sign in with the wrong username? Oh, man, how could I do that? Oh, so you guys didn't see that, right? Okay, so let's log in with one of our earlier ones that we were logging in with. So just so you know, we don't have too much longer here, toward the end here. Okay, so this is what it could look like from within a web application. So let me actually restart my relayer real quick. Nope. And that's it. Cool. So I'm going to log in with 1.1530x. Make sure I have enough in my wallet. Okay, let's see if our node is... That's going. All right, 0x. Okay, so we'll do 12 0x. No, we'll do 4 0x. Scroll down, WE 0.007. Okay, so that's gone through. Okay, so that's good. So we've submitted the order. Sorry, thanks for being patient. Okay, so that's fine. So we've said we want to put in a specific order. So if we go to DEX Trader 2, let me log in with DEX Trader 2 real quick. It really is pretty fun to log in with Edge login because you just get to scan. Whoops. All right, so now DEX Trader 1 is going to fill this order. So I'm going to log in with DEX Trader 1. Also, since we are still monitoring it in our Edge wallet, I'm in DEX Trader 2 right now, so I want to log out and go to DEX Trader 1. Log in with that. So in our web application here for the exchange, I believe that I have actually have these tokens backwards for the order book browsing, but just bear with me because the functionality is still there. So we see here off to the right, there are two orders. We want this second one here, the one that was just submitted by DEX Trader 2. So we bring that up. I also want to inspect some of the output so that I can monitor what's going on when we attempt to actually fill this order. So let's see here. I will go confirm it. Whoop, our debugger wants to go. So let's turn off our breakpoints so we just let it go. Show the console setting allowance. So it's already giving us some output, signing. Now it's mining the transaction. So off to the right here in our Edge app, we see 103.829 ZRX, W8.135. I'm going to reduce the size of this. Transaction is being mined, which is cool, and we can monitor that in Etherscan again. So it has not reached the Etherscan node just yet. This is something that can take a little bit, right? This is a decentralized network that we're talking about here. Okay, so now the transaction is pending, so that means that it's in the mempool. It has not gotten a confirmation yet. Okay, so now we have a block confirmation, so that's cool. You can see all the information here. Let's see here, it'll take a moment to show up in our Edge app. Oh, and we see that it's actually already shown up, believe it or not. So if we go to the actual transactions, then we can see actually 2 minutes ago that the transaction went through. So that's awesome. We've shown how you can do it from a web application. So now, just one last thing. If we take a look at the relayer address, the address for the relayer that we've been using, which we own this Ethereum address, and we put it into Etherscan, we will see, okay, transactions, that's fine for Ether. If we look at the ERC20 tokens transaction portion, you will see over the course of my testing and this demonstration, we've racked up more and more ZRX. So that is what we want, and it's hypothetically you want to be in control of a relayer so you can get that fee revenue. I'll show you one last thing real quick. So if you are creating something in JavaScript, then you can do a little something where the good thing is that if you create a decentralized application using Edge login, then that actually opens up some other avenues for you. So for example, if you wanted to do something like an actual desktop app, well, with some of the competitors like MetaMask, that's a Chrome plugin. So unfortunately, I don't know if you can do MetaMask with an actual, with an actual desktop application. And I also am not sure about Ledger, but with Edge login, you can. So see, this interface is very familiar. So by using Edge login, you are actually able to open up more avenues for for your decentralized application. In this sense, in this case, a decentralized exchange. And I think it's especially good to allow someone to create a desktop application because that tends to give users a better feel for security, whereas something like a browser is very open to all sorts of malicious software. Something like a desktop application might be better with regards to security. Okay, so that is it for the demonstration. So hopefully you guys have come to the end of this presentation with me, thinking that this technology is pretty approachable, and I was able to put quite a bit of stuff together. It is my hope that our region, that San Diego, has enough talent that if there's enough interest, with decentralized exchange technology, I think it's going to be something that's going to get quite a bit larger in the future. I don't see any reason why our community could not enter into this market and assert ourselves. So I have a lot of front-end experience. I work full-time at Edge, so this would only be something that would be like a side project. But if you guys are interested or know anyone who would be interested in maybe scraping together a team, now we have some expertise here as well, then I would hope that you would get in contact with me or give my contact information to whoever that person might be. Because as the size of this pie gets larger, even if you have a small slice, you're still talking about quite a bit of revenue, quite a bit of money. And I don't see any reason why our community shouldn't be getting our fair share of it. So with that said, my name's Kylan Hurt. Hopefully you've enjoyed this presentation. And if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to ask them now. Thank you.